Let's get the show on a rotor.
Good evening, I'm Bob Tanner. The other board members are Mike Martin, Scott Calhoun, and Jacqueline Spry. I'd like to introduce the following people: Matthew Puz, Zoning and Development Officer; Julie Maggio, Assistant Zoning and Development Officer; Rich Perhax, Board Solicitor; Cecilia Mahana, Board Reporter, Court Reporter. And Zoning Development Secretary, Denise Pizarro. After the presentation by the appellant, the board will hear from all interested parties in the appeal, whether in favor or in opposition to the appeal. After all presentations are made, the board will recess. We'll then reconvene and make our decisions. The board has up to 45 days to render a decision, but most are made this evening. You may call the zoning office in the morning after 8:30 a.m. if you choose to leave before the decision is made on your appeal. I would like to also mention that anything that you present to us will be held for 45 days. I'd like to now ask everyone to stand and be sworn in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Please answer, I do.
I do.
Thank you. Okay, we only have one appeal on the agenda for tonight. Appeal 21-20, Wales Veterinary Practice, PLLC, for property located at 1703 Peninsula Drive, asking for a use variance for an animal hospital veterinary clinic in the I-1 Light Industrial District. And now, if you're going to all present or just one at a time, whatever it is, need you to one at a time come up, state your name and address. And if you have a question for someone else, let them come up and say it, just so we can properly annotate everything, okay?
Yep.
All right, come on up.
I feel like I'm on Shark Tank. You cut. Anyhow, I'm Cassie Wales, and my husband's Dr. Stephen Wales. My husband and I moved to Erie about 8 years ago, full-time, and he's a large animal vet at the racetrack, and we do farm work in surrounding areas. On my spare time, I have chosen to foster for the Anna Shelter and Beyond the Cruelty team. And throughout the time that I've lived in Erie, there's a true crisis for care. There's just so many animals and not enough centers, for animals to be seen, especially emergency and urgent care. And so we're asking for the variance on the property 1703 Peninsula to try to make a difference in the area. We are asking for a temporary, I'm not sure how that goes, but we like to be there at least a year or two, and then we're going to be moving to a different building over by the racetrack. But if we can make this property a go, we would like to stay here and continue to doing the urgent care center.
So why would this be a short-term move?
Because we had bought property over by the racetrack, and we're going to build a bigger hospital that could suit more animals to help the community.
Okay.
But if we can make this property, a go, we would love to stay here as well and just have two locations. But the problem is always getting, veterinarians to work for you. But I just so happen to have been blessed enough where I have two small animal veterinarians ready to work and ready to go at this property. I have a whole staff, some of my staff here, and some more staff ready to work.
Now, I see the address. I'm a little confused on exactly where this is, because it shows the warehouse out back, but it also shows the former offices of Kolb right on the end of the building.
Yeah.
Where exactly is this going to be?
So we would be in the former location of the Builders Association, and
Okay.
it's connected to Craft Lumber, so there's like an upstairs, downstairs, so it worked perfectly for us.
Okay, so it's not, there's also a picture of the warehouse out back. That's
No, it's not part of the lease.
Okay.
No.
My last question.
What are your hours of operation proposed to be?
Normal business hours, but like I said, like animals get sick, you stay after 5 and so on. We're not looking to do 24-hour care unless, we can get it staffed. But our goal is just to be an urgent care for now, normal business hours. But I would say we would run to maybe 7, 8 sometimes if there were more cases or animals in need.
And how many animals do you believe you're going to be able to treat at any one time at this facility?
So I'm the
Name and address, please.
Jessica Amon, my actual address, my home address,
Yeah, your real-
8730
no
Valley
phony
View
one.
Circle, Erie, PA. So I used to work at Wintergreen Animal Hospital for 11 years. I was the office manager there. The doctor that's actually going to be working for this practice came from Wintergreen. She was by far our best doctor. We would see probably about 40 to 50 patients a day, which is insane because before I left there about a couple days ago, they're down to one doctor, so they're seeing maybe 5, 10 animals a day. Even the Pittsburgh and Orchard Park, so Pittsburgh Pet Emergency Center has a 24-hour wait. If you go there with your dog that was hit by a car, you have to wait 24 hours for it to be seen. COVID just kind of ruined everything.
So you're gonna be able to offer immediate care
Yes.
in 24/7?
No, we're only gonna be open normal business hours, so I would say 8 to 5 sometimes. I mean, we never close on time, so 7 or 8 sometimes. There also is the Pet Emergency Center that is on 38th Street. They are open when normal vets are not, but they are also so overwhelmed because there's not enough vets to take in the patients now that they're seeing that. So that would lessen their caseload and they'd be able to actually see things overnight.
So in the event of an emergency, you would be able to take on animals? And
Yeah.
these are all just small animals?
Yep, small animals, cats, dogs, rabbits,
No reptiles?
no. Unless you want us to.
All right, so Steve Wales, 509 Arbuckle Road, Erie, PA 16509. So yeah, just the critical care is need for these small animals. Like, I had a case a few weeks ago for the Pet Emergency Center. Their dog was seizuring in the middle of the night, been seizuring all night. They had no care. They tried to call the Pet Emergency Center. They said, we can't take your case, we're overbooked. They weren't even answering the phone. So these animals need care, and they can't be seen by these small animal practices that are available right now. They're just overwhelmed. We don't have enough veterinarians in our field. We don't have enough staff. As you know, as any other business right now, it's really hard to find staff. So we're trying to provide care for all these animals that are in need. I'm a large animal practitioner, so I haven't been doing small animal. I've been doing large animal for 20 years, horses in particular. So my phone's private, but it goes through my practice. I get probably 5 to 10 calls a day by small animal clients calling me, even though it says large animal and that's it. They can't get in anywhere. They can't get anywhere at all. So we are seeing patients as of now since Dr. Amanda Jones came on staff. And I'm taking these 3 or 4 calls, I'm forwarding them to her. They are so appreciative that we're able to see these animals right now. So we're taking animals in as we speak right now, and our practice is already building. So we're hoping to get this lease so we can start seeing more and more animals and taking them on, just to try and help the area, because these small animals, emergencies just can't be seen. I mean, they're booked for 2 weeks out, and some of these animals they need to be seen.
What's your anticipated start date?
They'll fill that even more, but we were ready to go until we found out about it wasn't zoned properly. We were ready to roll, but we are putting all new flooring in, so we do have to do that. That was part of the lease program. But once we get that flooring in, we've already this last month, what we've been working on is getting all the equipment, anesthesia machines, x-ray, ultrasound, anesthesia tables, surgery tables. So if this happens, if you guys are kind enough to let us, we are ready to roll very quickly.
I mean, within a month, 3 months?
Absolutely, within 30 days, if
Okay.
not 2 weeks.
Can I ask, have you looked at other properties, and why are you choosing this property? And, I mean, it's zoned for light manufacturing. It's not zoned for this type of business.
Right.
And typically, the clinics, at least that I've noticed, are usually on a commercial zone or a major thoroughfare, which this is a major thoroughfare, although it's sort of off the beaten path.
Yeah.
So can you speak to the reason that you're choosing this over some other property? Because that's really the deciding factor here, is if you have a hardship, that we can, we can vote on a use variance.
That's what
for
it is we've been looking at properties all over. And it's so hard to find something that can fit what we need, and our veterinarians are happy with use and as far as functionality. And it is an odd field, veterinary medicine, being able to function as a clinic. So this actually just fits perfectly for us. If you've ever been in that property, that particular property is offices and buildings. So in particular rooms, so we can use specific spaces for the animals. So we can use rooms, there's an office for our office staff, and then we have different clinic rooms that we can use. So we're going, looking at all the places in the area, we just have not been able to find some place that fits the need for our clinic. So that's why we are choosing this. My wife's been looking forever, for a while, for a place. So that is the reason that we chose this place.
Well, actually, Cassie Wales, and when working with our realtor, with Agresti Real Estate, when I gave him my criteria, he knew what was going in there. There was an animal clinic. I needed to be a certain radius away from Dr. Amanda's previous employer. I gave him the criteria, and when we were ready to sign our lease, it turns out, I asked the questions again because he didn't get back to me, and come to find out it wasn't zoned. So we were ready to go. We were ready to pretty much move in, and then found out that it's not zoned. And so that's why the owners, they had bought the flooring, and we were just like, oh my goodness. That's why I brought staff on. I mean, I was fully staffed, and so I've been paying staff and just been idling, waiting to open. So that's why that property, we were shown, and we didn't know that it wasn't zoned for an animal clinic.
You had mentioned you're wanting to be in this location for a period of a year. What happens if we don't grant this request?
Well, then we can't help as many animals in the community. And I really don't think realistically we're gonna have another building, like our built building, to move for probably 2 to 3 years. That was the original plan, but as you know, the cost of lumber, everything's gone up. I just don't think it's feasible to do that right away.
Yeah, so the reason we want to come into this place and we want to get going, to get things going. We're a simple family. It's just my wife and I. We have 3 kids. We don't have millions of dollars. So that's the real reason. We're coming in, we want to help animals. That's what my passion has always been, and her passion. This has been a lifelong dream for us to open our own practice, and that's what we're trying to do. We need to generate income in order to build a bigger clinic and help more animals. Eventually, we want to build a large animal wing for horses, central offices, and a small animal portion for a small animal clinic. That's our ideal dream as a family and as a husband and wife.
So if we grant this request and you open this facility here in what I'm gonna call Northwest Mill Creek, your plans though are to leave this facility at some point in time to move out in the
Well,
southwest?
we would hope to keep them both. We would help
That's
the
what I
west
said.
side and the east side, hopefully.
Okay.
If we can staff it. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
And they're
we're
not-
planning, I mean, if everything works out, 'cause we don't, all these people are gonna come to us here, you know, from the west side. We don't wanna be like, hey, we're leaving, we're out, we're going to the east side. That's not right, you know? So we would like to keep both of them going, and ideally if we can, and we feel we have a good following as well as Dr. Amanda, and we've already got another doctor that wants to come on as well, that our staffing is gonna be well accustomed to what we need to do. And believe me, it's like my wife said, it's gonna be a while before we can generate enough incomes. We're small, we're not big, we don't have a huge backing, so.
Okay.
I just was wondering,
Go ahead.
I know you said this is urgent care, but do you have plans, or do any of the animals stay overnight, or will they be kenneled, or this is just in-out? So you don't necessarily need a space an open space for the animals to run or roam?
No.
You're not thinking,
this
because
is
I was
just-
looking
yeah.
at sort of the surrounding, and it's really constrained there. If that was, your future plans.
No, that's not
to
our
ha-
plans, it's
to have
an
an-
outdoor area or
Yeah.
anything to house dogs or cats. If something needs to be kept overnight, it's probably
I
a
have no
critical
idea.
care
Sure,
anyway. It's not
sure.
gonna be left out, it's gonna be in a cage. so.
And there's only one other urgent care clinic in town? Is
Yeah,
that
that's
in the
big
whole
problem.
county?
In the whole
Yeah,
county.
there's just
That's
So-
the
one
problem.
place.
That's the problem right now is emergency care.
It
It's
showed,
in
if
dire
my
need.
dog got hit by a car, he would die for lack of care.
That's, I guess, if you need a hardship to pass
What
this, that
this
would be a
guy's doing
hardship.
is really
Emergency,
needed
urgent care
as a
animals
pet
need
owner,
to
I
be
can tell you
seen, and we hope to provide that.
I have a quick question. It appears to me from looking at the photographs that you're only going to be leasing a portion of a larger building. How many square feet are you going to be leasing?
I want to say it's like about 2,000 square foot.
Okay, and it looks to be the part that's right in the center of the photograph? It's kind of a
Oh, it's all
brown
the way to
brick,
the
kind of a
left?
brown
It's
brick.
all the way to the left
end of
part of
the
the
building.
building.
Non-craft lumber.
Anything that
Right
isn't
here,
craft lumber?
this square.
Yes, anything that
Okay.
isn't craft lumber,
I
correct,
thought it
yeah.
was 30,000.
No, it's,
Okay,
Is it this square thing here?
my question was, is it, are you occupying the part of the building that is not
This
signed for craft lumber?
Correct.
Okay, that enables us to
Oh,
tell what we're doing,
okay, sounds good.
because your request only applies to a portion of the building.
Right, correct.
I have nothing else. Anybody have anything else?
No.
okay. Is there anyone else in the audience who'd like to speak?
Well, here he comes. Is he a competing veterinarian or what?
think so.
Leonard Kolb, 46
Oh, no, he's the
Overland
owner.
Park Avenue. I'm the owner of Craft Lumber and also these buildings, and just came on behalf of this proposed tenant to ask again that you allow the rezoning. It's about 2,000 square feet, as they said, and there's a block firewall between Craft Lumber showroom and the rest of the complex and their two-story space.
Okay. And obviously, you can speak on behalf of Craft Lumber that they don't have any issues with
No.
this tenant as well,
They don't.
right? Okay. Anyone have any questions for him?
No. Oh, just so you know, Mr. Cole, we can't rezone the property. So we're not changing the classification and the list of things that can be done, under the classification of the property. It's still industrial. All we're considering is whether to permit it, basically an exception to that, for a veterinary practice, and just the veterinary practice, just so you know, as the owner.
That's fine.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to take a few minutes and discuss this and be back to hopefully render a decision.
I've been here 43. So
Together,
we're
together
about
we're
done.
Medicare.
We're
Together we're Medicare.
we're both on Medicare. I've been on Medicare.
Okay, let the record show, we're back at 7:33. On the appeal number 21-20, Wales Veterinary Practice, do I have a motion?
I'll motion that we approve.
I'll second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? So moved.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second? Approved.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.